Hello, and welcome to episode 56 of the West Aurora 129 podcast. I am Dr. Michael Smith, Superintendent of West Aurora School District 129. We know the success of our students is directly connected to the people who serve them every day. In West Aurora, we take that responsibility seriously, not only in how we recruit new staff, but also in how we support, develop, and retain educators who are committed to helping students learn, explore, and grow. Today, I am excited to highlight two special education teachers at Jewell Middle School. Mia Gianfrancesco, who is in her second year of teaching and serves in a self-contained classroom, and Heather Van Lear, who is in her 23rd year in education and currently serves as a special education resource teacher and co-teacher. Their connection also gives us a chance to talk about our teacher induction program, which is designed to help teachers who are new to West Aurora feel supported, connected, and prepared to serve our students. Heather stepped in after Mia's original mentor went on maternity leave, but that hasn't stopped them from forming a strong mentoring relationship. Mia and Heather, thank you both for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having us today.
Thanks for having us.
100%. Glad you're here. I am looking forward to hearing how the induction program has impacted both of you. But before we get there, I'd like to start with your stories and what brought each of you to West Aurora. Mia, from what I understand, education runs in your family. Can you share a little bit about the influence and how that helped lead you to where you are here at Jewell?
Yeah, so both my parents are educators. I grew up with them being educators. My mom is in elementary school, and my dad actually teaches at the high school that I graduated from.
I already like your mom.
Yes.
That's that elementary connection. Hey,
yes, she loves
spirit.
it. She loves
Awesome.
it. I would find myself, anytime I had a day off when she didn't, I would find myself inside of her classroom,
Sure.
and that was just where I wanted to be. And I saw their hard work and dedication
Sure.
throughout their teaching career. They have 4 years left.
Okay.
So, so what led me to Jewell Middle School is I knew I went to Loyola Chicago, so not that far from home, and I knew that I wanted to come back closer to home to work when I eventually get married and have a family. I knew
Sure.
I wanted to be close. And so I saw that Jewell Middle School had an opening, and I fell in love with self-contained during student teaching. It's just something special.
Sure.
Self-contained is so special.
100%.
And when I saw that there was a position open at Jewell, I was like, well, I've never heard of this school before, but I'm going to go for it.
That's neat.
And
So
here we are.
if I'm hearing correctly, although you spent time in mom's classroom, you connected with dad on the secondary side because you both ended up in secondary education. Is that fair to say?
My dad, yes, correct. And my dad is also a special education teacher as well.
Awesome.
So some would say I'm very similar to him.
Okay. All right. We'll take that. Right?
Yeah.
And Heather, you bring a pretty wide range of experience to this work, both as a classroom teacher and administrator. Can you walk us through your journey and what brought you to Jewell?
Yes, and I feel as you read that 23 years, that's quite a long time. But like Mia, I think my journey started very young.
Sure.
It started really probably 10 years old when my parents bought a chalkboard. Back in the day, they put it in the basement.
Wait, we need to pause for our listeners who may be younger. A chalkboard is...
A chalkboard is kind of an old-fashioned whiteboard.
There you go.
Yes, where we did not have markers. We had chalk and erasers. And that just sparked my love. That summer, I decided to run my own mini summer camp in the basement of our house.
Wow.
Sent out flyers to all the neighborhood moms. Send your kids over to me 2 hours a day. And that's where my love for just teaching, lesson planning, having activities for kids started. And then it kind of naturally progressed then in high school. They offered child development classes and again, got the opportunity to go into daycare centers, play with kids,
Sure.
do lessons. It was great. So naturally, when it was time to go to college, it was an easy choice for me to go into
Sure.
education.
Sure. You probably had more pre-service work than people who have decided to go through education programs before you started, right?
Probably. It
That's
was a
neat.
great experience. So having those experiences really led me to DePaul University.
Okay.
Graduated from DePaul with a degree in elementary education, but then also got my endorsements in everything possible.
Sure.
So really was able to then kind of transition pretty quickly into middle school. Right out of college, got a job working for Chicago Public Schools, working in a middle school, teaching math, science, social studies right off the bat. But then, like many educators in this field, we realized that education is not done when we graduate. And
Sure.
so pursued my master's in curriculum and instruction from Olivet Nazarene University, then went on to get my special education endorsement from Northeastern Illinois University. Still wasn't done. So then I got my master's in administration from North Park University.
Wow.
And then just recently decided to get my English as a second language endorsement.
Okay.
And I finished that up a couple years ago from Truman College.
Okay, so anyone looking to see what colleges are like in the area should really call you, because it sounds like you visited quite a few.
Quite a few of them, yes. All pretty much in the Chicagoland area.
There you go.
Yes.
That's neat. And it's not just to hear that you're all over the Chicagoland area. I know, Mia, there are connections that the two of you had with just your experience, both having gone to school at Batavia High School, college in Chicago, college athletes. Did you guys know that you had these connections, or how did that come about?
Not at first. We figured it out very quickly after our first conversation.
Okay.
And that was really something that we were able to bond over.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I kind of knew a little bit more because I had the opportunity to be on the interview committee that interviewed Mia. So I knew her background a little bit more than she knew mine. But it was then that organic feeling, right? That when you start to have conversations, and I knew that, oh, we graduated from the same high school. Oh, we have athletics in common. We both lived on the lakefront in Chicago. It just
best place to be. Lakefront in Chicago,
amazing.
Best place to be.
And so it just helped us a lot. It helped me kind of spark those initial conversations because I knew that connection. But then Mia kind of learned, I was able to share more about that as we talked more.
Well, and believe it or not, it helps our listeners understand, even though we're educators, we're people too.
Absolutely.
And that's where it starts. As you talked about, there are connections that we look to make beyond the classroom. And that's where relationship, friendship are forged, just in the connections and experiences that you had. Now, Mia, I want to ask you a pretty specific question here. Both of you have talked about being special education teachers, but I don't know that everyone understands self-contained when you make that distinction. Can you help us out with that?
Yeah, so self-contained is a smaller classroom setting. Currently, I work in a self-contained classroom that houses emotional disabilities.
Okay.
And that is a wide range of disability and needs that come inside the classroom. And so it's really awesome you have the ability to meet the students where they're at, being in that smaller classroom setting while keeping them on track with the curriculum. And it's really awesome because I'm able to adapt things very easily for my students. And I can only have 13 in the classroom at a time. That is my cutoff number. And I have 2 paras in the room with me as well, which is huge for when, students are needing to take a break, but I'm in the middle of teaching. They're able to ask one of them and then regulate themselves and then come back in the classroom.
Sure.
At Jewel, we're very lucky to have access to a sensory room as well, which is very beneficial for my students, especially this year as we're seeing a little bit of a crossover with emotional disabilities and autism currently. But yeah, self-contained is so special.
And I hear you talking about the different resources that are available for our students, not just physically, but via people resources.
Absolutely.
You talk about the paraprofessionals in the team. Even though you're spinning in the teacher kind of managing it all, you do rely on them to help a student who might need a reset and so they can rejoin the classroom. And what I love about that is this is not something where we're sending kids away. We're giving them an opportunity to reset and rejoin, right? I think I hear in your classroom what we've talked about with the GPS. Everyone doesn't follow the same path, but we're heading in the same direction. Others might take a left or a right, but they end up back on the path of forward movement. I think to a degree, if I was going to give a picture, does that sound familiar?
Absolutely. And I verbalize that to my students. I tell them we all have different needs. We all have different things that we are working on inside of this classroom. But the things that we have the same is that we're trying to pass whatever grade we're in. So I have a mix of 6th graders and 7th graders. So we're just trying to do our best every single day.
Sure.
My paraprofessionals are absolutely amazing.
Sure.
They honestly read my mind most of the time. Mrs. Darby, our school social worker that works with the program, absolutely amazing. I've just been able to form these really awesome professional relationships that have turned into friendships.
Sure.
And it's just self-contained is so close-knit and it's amazing.
It's about the team. And now, Heather, I'm going to jump to your side of the aisle here.
Yes.
Because both of you have the title special education teacher, but yours is is coded as a resource teacher. Can you help our listeners understand what that means?
Yeah, absolutely. Really kind of the same role. Our role as special education teachers are really centered on supporting specific students in our classroom. But as a resource teacher, I actually spend the majority of my day inside the general education classroom.
Sure.
Those students need support, but they're integrated in with everyone else. I work directly just with them, but also with the general education population. One thing that's also very unique about my situation as a push-in teacher, what we call co-teaching, is that I get to work right alongside the general education teacher. So we kind of have this partnership, kind of like Mia does with her paraprofessionals, that you have this working relationship with each other, that you do kind of read each other's mind. You really understand the students in your classroom, what type of needs they need, what type of supports, what type of extra strategies you have to use for them. But I do that in that general education setting.
Thank you very much to the both of you for just letting us peek behind the curtain as to what it means to be a special education teacher in West Aurora. But specifically, we also wanted to talk about our induction program and the support that you received as newer teachers, and then what support you provide as a mentor teacher, Heather. And Mia, I can start with you. Can you explain a little bit about our induction program and kind of what you experienced over the past couple of years?
Yeah, so the induction program is, you talk to a lot of districts and they have what's called a mentor program, but I don't think there's anything like the induction program at West. I think that it's very special. Us teachers all second year middle school teachers, we meet once a month with Kyle Palestrini and Laura Beatas. And we just get to sit there and we get to talk about what's going on and other skills. And they're talking to us about comp badges and all these things. But the mentor program, having Heather in my building has not even just in my building, in the same pod that we work in together, has been absolutely amazing. She is able to answer any question that I have. If I need help with IEP paperwork, she's my go-to. She's just my go-to person for everything.
And what I want to highlight from what you were just saying is under the leadership of Laura Beatas, who we are sorry to see is retiring this year, she has built a phenomenal program of general support for all first and second teachers throughout the district, where you all meet monthly. But as part of our induction program, not just do we have that support, and you see other first or second year teachers that you can collaborate and really understand you're not alone.
Absolutely.
There is a built-in mentor support within the building, someone that you can rely on more of that one-on-one support. Is that fair to say?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so then that jumps me to you, Heather, as the mentor. So tell me, what does that look like?
Yes. What's really great is even when I joined District 129 about 3 years ago, I had a firsthand experience actually going through the mentor program myself. So it's not just for new teachers or new people coming into the profession. It's for new staff to District 129, which makes this program so special. And so the very fact that I got to go through this program and see just how absolutely wonderful and valuable it was for me, it made me so motivated to just jump on board.
And turn around and give back to what you receive, right?
Exactly. And it was also so fun for me to kind of be back in that kind of leadership role per se.
Sure.
I had come from administration and I did that a lot. My administrative role when I was an assistant principal was mentoring new teachers. That was really my focus. So it just kind of brought me back to a comfortable place.
That's neat.
And it's just been so great to be able to share my experiences, and so much so because I had so many great mentors. I would have never been an administrator had I not had a mentor who was able to support me, guide me, point me in that right direction, help me with my experiences. So I love being able to give back.
And I want to go on record, Mia, as saying I did not offer any monetary benefit for you. But I will ask, what's something special that Heather's done in her role as your mentor?
Oh, wow. I have so many answers coming to my head immediately.
Which is why I said I did not offer any monetary benefit to this discussion.
Yes.
No, Heather didn't pay me off. She's earned this, right? But please.
I would say I think the biggest thing is just how reliable Heather is. If she doesn't know the answer, she says, give me 5 minutes. I'm going to find out right now.
I love it.
And so just knowing that I can come to her for anything, whether it's just professional or I'm just having a really rough day and self-contained and I just need to talk it out. I know that Heather is my go-to and I know that she is very reliable and will be there.
That's awesome. And then Heather, as much as we've been in a profession for years, there's still space for us to learn from those that are coming to us in their first or second year.
Yes.
What is something that you've learned from Mia?
I mean, Mia brings such a great fresh perspective, especially having her be in a self-contained classroom. Her behavior strategies, some things that I have not even tried, she's able to share and I'm able to try with students that I see. Honestly, we realize that these strategies can help all of our students, not just very specific ones, but her willingness to share. She also has that, what you always kind of say, that new positive energy, that she brings a lot of her experience and energy every single day. I want to say that just our having that connection that makes it easier for us to share with each other has also been just so great, because there are things that I might share that have not worked and I'll be like, hey, I need some help, and vice versa. And just being able to do that has really been very, very helpful and beneficial.
Neat. Something that Laura Beatis always says is your vibe attracts your tribe. And you both have a very similar vibe. I can just see it in how you all talk to each other and talk about one another. There's a connection that goes beyond just we report to the same building, right? Now, Mia, having gone through it, do you think this is something that you would want to participate in as a mentor potentially?
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt, for sure. I think that Heather has, I've always enjoyed a leadership role growing up, but I think Heather has really made me realize this is so helpful for new teachers. And if I can be helpful to new teachers or just even new to the district and help guide them, absolutely, without a doubt.
Awesome. And here's just an open-ended question. Whoever would like to go first, we're always looking to explain what teaching looks like or really build on the excitement that a student might have who's thinking about going into education. What advice would you offer for someone thinking about going into education?
I'll let you go first.
Perfect. Will do. I think that my best advice is to focus on building relationships. I think throughout our whole talk and everything, whether it's relationships with our colleagues, with our students, I think those are probably the most important, is take the time to develop those relationships with students, take the time to develop those relationships with staff. It is your second family. I've always approached things as you will most likely spend more time with the students that you have in front of you than their parents at home. We have such a huge chunk of the day with them. And in order to be successful in that, build those relationships.
Yeah, relationships is something that might have come up once or twice in this podcast.
Yes.
Mia, what do you think?
Yeah, I think piggybacking off of Heather is that as a new teacher myself, it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to ask for help. I think that I can be very stubborn and I'm like, I'll figure it out myself. And Heather has been very good at being like, no, tell me what you need. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay that you don't know everything right now. And so I think that's a huge part of just advice is making sure you ask the questions and that you have your go-to person to ask those questions to.
And that's a tenet of what we believe here in West Aurora, which is approaching education with curiosity.
Absolutely.
And I think I heard that in what you were saying. Even though we're educators, doesn't mean we have all of the answers. But an educator is curious, and we work hard to try and find. I think that's what I hear you saying in that. So I really appreciate the feedback. Heather and Mia, thank you so much for your passion, your advocacy, and your constant focus on helping students build the skills they need to be successful beyond our classrooms. Heather, thank you for stepping into the mentor role and investing in those who are newer to our district and to this profession. That kind of leadership has a lasting impact. And Mia, it has been great to hear about your experience and your growth. We're excited to continue watching both of you as educators here in West Aurora, and we hope you are with us for many years to come. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
It's so wonderful to be part of the West Aurora 129 family. Thank you.
And to our listeners, thank you for spending some time with us today. Don't forget, you can follow and subscribe to the West Aurora 129 podcast on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, SoundCloud, or wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be taking a break from the podcast over the summer, but we look forward to being back with more stories to share in the coming school year. Thanks for listening.